Hi, I am HoloVices and welcome back to another video. Today I will be reviewing the remake for the Lollipop Chainsaw video game because unfortunately IGN are a bunch of cowards that don't want to review it. They would much rather review another remake from a 20-year-old game, but the one where you play with a sexy blonde chick? No, that is not a thing in 2024 anymore. Women are not allowed to be beautiful in video games, so they will not be reviewing it because they are cowards. But I do not fear, for I am not a coward, and I will review this game because I'm a massive fan of this game. Okay, so let me just address the elephant in the room. You might be wondering why I am inside of a night robe. Well, that is, like, keep wondering, okay? That's your concern. Don't worry about me and my night robe, okay? This has nothing to do with you. You're not here to judge my fit. You're here to listen to the words that I spill, okay? So before I get into it, I would like to say, before I, actually get into the entire review of the game and everything, I just want to mention one thing real quick, and that is the fact that they removed the Ash Williams costume that you could get for Lollipop Chainsaw, or at least for Juliet. There was a costume that was heavily inspired by Ash Williams from Evil Dead, and if you couldn't tell by now, I am quite a big fan of Ash Williams, okay? I'm a really big fan. I was really looking forward to playing with that outfit in the game, but unfortunately it didn't get included. So with that out of the way, let me get into the actual video and the review. But I would like you to also keep one thing in mind, and that is the fact that I am not a IGN reviewer. I am not a game journalist. The difference between me and IGN and game journalists are the fact that I am actually a gamer and I actually know how to play video games. They don't. They just spew all kinds of bullshit. Me, I give you an honest, humble opinion, and I recommend the game to you and why you should play it, or I don't recommend it and why you shouldn't play it, okay? But do I recommend this game? Don't I? I don't know. That's up for you to find out. Watch this video, don't forget to leave a like, and if you're brand new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. Let's get into it. Lollipop Chainsaw. It is a title that'll either strike you with utter confusion or it'll strike you with a massive boner. And what I mean by that is a nostalgia boner, because this is quite an old game now. It's more than a decade old, and it really doesn't feel like it because I remember this game very well and it is engraved inside of my brain. It is a core memory, and I will tell you why in a second. But let me just say that I didn't play the original port of the game. I did see a lot of the original port though, and now I'm going to tell you why. So this game was released all the way back in 2012, and it was exclusively on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. Now at the time, I didn't have access to any of those consoles. I was quite a little poor lad growing up, and the thing is, later on when I did get access to those consoles, I couldn't find a copy of the game anywhere, so I could never sadly play it. And I remember trying my best to play the game on PC, but it never got a PC port, and the PlayStation 3 emulators and stuff, it just aren't quite as working quite as well as we wanted to. So every day, ever since grade 2, I have been praying to all of the gods above, just hoping that this game will get a remaster or a remake. And wow, one of those gods up there actually listened to me, and they made a remake for Lollipop Chainsaw. And that is just the greatest news that I have received this year. I had no idea of this even. I didn't know that it was in the works. I didn't know that they had plans for it or anything. I remember just going onto the Steam store front page and seeing it there for a few bucks. And I was like, what? That's crazy. I got it on the day of its release. I remember I tried to stream the game, but unfortunately it didn't work well. So I only got like half an hour or so on the stream footage. But I actually did fix that problem that I had on stream for any of those of you that were there. You might remember that the game constantly, it either didn't want to launch, or it crashed with a black screen, or it just froze. Now, it turns out that that was the DirectX 12 version of the game. So the DirectX 12 version of the game is completely broken, at least it was for me. After multiple reinstalls and all kinds of attempts to fix it, I then realized that unfortunately the game is busted and I will not be able to play it, even though I waited more than a decade to actually play it. But then I had a little bit of an idea, a bit of a light bulb went off inside of my head, and I thought, why not try to launch the game in DirectX 11 compatibility mode? And it worked perfectly fine. DirectX 11 was the go-to version for this game, and I didn't have that many problems. There were a few bugs, I'm not gonna lie, there were quite a few bugs, but these weren't like mini game breaking bugs. A few of them were quite bad, but not necessarily something that would make you Alt F4 out of the game and uninstall it. There were a few bugs here and there, nothing too bad. One thing that was very annoying though is the fact that a lot of the dialogue repeated. I mean, it's great hearing a funny joke from the head strapped to your waist, but when it's just constantly being repeated the exact same line, it's not fun, and it gets very tedious very quick. But luckily, that didn't happen as many times. I recall probably maybe like 2 or 3 times that happened to me. And the thing is, with the actual game, like I said, I didn't play the original port for the game. And this is why, because in 2012, I didn't have access to the game. And I remember going to my cousin's house, and my cousin was telling his mother, like, hey, there's this new game that I really want, and it's available at the shop. Can we please go get it? And then me, my cousin, and his mother, we went to BT Games. Now, for those of you that remember BT Games fly high. It was a great shop, and he went in there and he bought 2 brand new games. One of them were, of course, Lollipop Chainsaw. The other one was Twisted Metal, but that is an entire different video for another day. Sadly, we haven't gotten a remake or a remaster for Twisted Metal yet. But aside from that, so we got the Lollipop Chainsaw game. We got home, he popped in the CD, I looked at the cover art and everything, and then I watched him play the game for a few hours. Now, the only memory that I vaguely have of that moment was just remembering him slaying a shit ton of zombies with a sexy chick and a chainsaw. I mean, come on. That is amazing. I mean, grade 2 me, I was staring at that screen like, holy shit, this is peak. This is the greatest game ever. Unfortunately, I won't be able to play it. But yes, after many, many prayers, we have finally gotten a remake. And a lot of people are giving this remake a lot of flame. Like, a lot of people are giving it a bunch of trouble for the optimization, the performance, the bugs, all kinds of stuff like that. And I will say that yes, I guess it's not that well optimized since the DirectX 12 version didn't want to work well, but the DirectX 11 version that I played was really well optimized, and I didn't have any performance issues whatsoever. The game doesn't have any graphical options, I do recall. So you won't be able to switch it between low graphics, medium, or high, or anything like that. But I mean, that wasn't a problem for me. I didn't play this on a massive beast of a PC or anything. I mean, I have a GeForce RTX 12GB 3060, I believe. And I mean, I didn't have any issues whatsoever. It didn't lag. There weren't any FPS drops. It actually felt like I was playing a PlayStation 3 game at the time, you know, in its peak. There were no problems like that. Like I said, there were a few minor bugs, but nothing too big to write home about. Now, the gameplay itself, like, it's just amazing. I mean, it's so over the top. Like, the game kind of reminds me of Devil May Cry, in a sense. Not necessarily the gameplay or anything, but just the fact that it is so action-packed, over the top, you know? And that's the thing, this game has a ton of action, like constantly. This game is just bending you over and shoving you full of action, okay? I mean, QTE, quick time events, are a very big part of this game. I mean, at least 60% of the gameplay was QTE events. And if you told me that as a kid, I would be very excited and I would be on board. But now, I'm not a big fan of the QTE events. Not necessarily because of the fact that it's a QTE event, but because of the fact that literally anybody can do these QTE events. Like, literally anybody. You could give Stevie Wonder as a baby the controller, and he will still flawlessly be able to pass all of the QTE sequences in this game, because I have genuinely tried my best to fail one of these sequences, but it just never worked. I just couldn't fail them. So I don't know why there are so many quick time events if they're so childishly easy. I mean, this is literally entry level preschool QTE events. I mean, come on, the quick time events are cool in games if there's an actual sense of urgency and danger, you know. But here, you know that even if you don't press left click or space button or something, it's still going to like not really affect the gameplay or anything. You're still going to pass the mission. You're still going to pass the QTE sequence. So it's kind of senseless to me to add so much of these quick time events without any actual depth to them, without any actual how can I say, repercussions to them, you know. But aside from the QTEs, it was pretty cool still. I mean, if I played this game back in 2012, I would have loved every second of it. Obviously, it is a bit dated now, so it does make sense. But yeah, aside from those events, I feel like you could play a drinking game and take a shot every time that I say QTE. So I'm going to stop saying QTE now. Aside from that, there was a shit ton of cutscenes inside of this game. All of them over the top, great voice acting, great lines, a lot of passion inside of the dialogue, a lot of passion with some of the characters. I mean, there's one part where, spoiler alert, somebody dies, but then they actually survive. But you know, before you knew that they survived, it was quite impactful emotionally. They really handled that well. And I mean, the fact that the person then survived was also pretty cool. They handled that well as well. But that is the thing, like, that was closer to the ending of the game. I feel like the game started to fall off a bit closer to the end. I know a lot of games are like this, where they have enough budget for like the first half of the game, and then they just put everything into it, and then the second half of the game is complete and utter slop. But in this case, I don't think that it was complete slop. I think that it was just kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say rushed. I feel like the story dragged out for a chapter or two too long, and I think that they could have wrapped it up a bit earlier. But yeah, the moral of this game, or basically the idea of this game, is there are 5 bosses that you've got to defeat. 5 zombies straight from the depths of hell. 5 boss battles. All of them are really cool. There was this hippie chick. There was this P. Diddy looking dude that kind of reminded me of Zemos from Saints Row. And I mean, each of the boss battles were quite fun. Don't go into this expecting it to be a Dark Souls experience with really in-depth boss battles or anything like that. I mean, it isn't like that. Like, the hardest boss in this game is going to be you controlling your urges. That is going to be the hardest boss in the game. The bosses were all very easy. I didn't have necessarily a problem with any of them. I remember one time I was really high and I did die to the P. Diddy dude. And I remember when I died to him, I quit the game. And then the next day when I launched it again, I had to replay the entire stage. It didn't save during the boss battle. So I had to replay the entire stage. This was the video game themed stage, which was absolute ass. I didn't enjoy it very much. And I eventually beat that boss. And I remember as well, a bit later on, that another time that I quit the game, this wasn't a time that I quit the game. This was actually a time that I got defeated by a boss. And when I did get defeated by the boss, I also had to do like all of his other phases again. This was, I believe, the motorcycle boss close to the end. And I remember he had a shit ton of phases. He had like 5 phases or something. We had to defeat him. And sometimes when I have to go up to him and like cut him up and stuff, it wouldn't work. So then I died because of it not working, because of that minor bug. And then I remember I had to do all of those phases over again. So it's a bit annoying how the game kind of lacks really good checkpoints, because there are definitely safe checkpoints and stuff, but they're not that good. They're not really placed where you want them to be. So I think that they could have definitely done a better job with some of the save points in this game, some of the checkpoints. Now, the thing is, the gameplay itself, like aside from the boss battles and stuff, the gameplay itself is just great. I mean, it's just awesome. I played this on a keyboard and mouse, probably one of the first people ever to do so. And I mean, I definitely had like finger callus or some shit after I beat this game, because just all of the QTE events and, you know, all of the button mashing, you know, I really wished that I was the guy hanging around her waist, because I remember one time he referenced and made a joke that at least he's not gonna have any, like, what's it called, like finger callus or anything. I don't remember the exact word for it, but yeah. I was hoping to be that guy closer to the end of the game because my fingers were just absolutely fucked, okay? Like, honestly, if I played this on a controller, my thumb would probably look like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. But luckily, I did not play this on a controller. If you did play this on a controller, then I am truly praying for you and my sincerest apologies. But yeah, on keyboard and mouse, it was quite fun. It's pretty simple: left click, right click combos, middle mouse as well. Middle mouse was a weird button for me to get used to, but I did get used to it and I did use it quite often. I didn't use the right click much because those were the pom pom attacks, and it honestly kind of felt useless to me. So I was mostly just hitting them hard and then slashing them from the top with my middle mouse button. But yeah, the combat in this game, definitely great. It's just waves and waves of zombies. A lot of them are different and unique as well. There are like officer zombies, there are massive zombies that take more like they can take more damage. They're more bulkier. Sometimes they throw something at you, sometimes they hold like a massive jukebox that kind of like possesses other zombies, with the music or some shit, so it makes them harder to defeat. All kinds of crap like that, which is really cool. It's really, really cool. There's also a wide variety of costumes in the game. This game is just peak because there is absolutely no DLC, no microtransactions. It's just prime fun, early 2010s nostalgia. It's just great. There's nothing bad about it in that sense. Like, there's no 2024 influence on this game, and that's a really good thing. It's a classic game. It really feels nostalgic, and honestly, it's a great blast from the past. I also forgot to mention the fact that there is a weapon that you have in this game that does come in handy quite often. You've got this gun. It was very powerful for me. I'm pretty sure they gave you like an auto aim / auto lock on system thingy, because I was just fucking popping heads, dude. Like, I was like the dude that killed JFK. I was absolutely not missing. I was just tapping heads left, right, and center. Unfortunately, you do run out of bullets though, but you can always buy them again at these little machines that are all around the place. That is also where you buy the new costumes. Like I said, zero microtransactions. Everything that you buy in-game can be earned in-game. You got all kinds of currencies in-game that you can use to buy the costumes. There's all kinds of music that you get. I didn't have too much of an interest in the music because my intention for this was to stream it. So I turned off the copyright music. I turned on the streamer mode. So most of the game, I didn't pay much attention to the music. And usually when I do play video games, I listen to my own music, and it kind of just enhances the experience. But from what I've heard in this game, the music is pretty cool. Every time you open up the shop, it's lollipop, lollipop, ooh la 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 lollipop. And there I got a copyright claim. But yeah, aside from this video being copyright claimed now because of my beautiful voice, the music was pretty good in the game. There's a lot of times that it did fit. I do think that they did cut some of the tracks from the original game. I'm not too sure about that. I'm not too sure about the differences from the original game and the remake. The differences meaning stuff like the music that got removed or censorship and kinds of stuff like that. This game didn't have any censorship though. This was like completely uncensored. And no, it doesn't mean that it's a not safe for work game. I mean, it kind of is, but there's not anything bad inside of it. Like, you could probably give this to like your 13-year-old brother and he's gonna have a massive blast. And even though this game, like, a lot of people are going to think, oh wow, this looks really sexual, it really isn't. It's just an absolute girl boss for a protagonist, one that I really like. I think that she's definitely, like, I know she talks a lot and she throws a lot of one-liners, but she really reminds me kind of Harley Quinn. I was going to say she's like a more sane version of Harley Quinn, but she is the opposite of sane. So yeah, she's giving Harley vibes. I really liked her. Juliet, a great protagonist. The dude hanging around your waist as well, the magic head, he's also just spitting one-liners after another, and it was also pretty funny at times. Sometimes very annoying, but most of the times I usually got a little giggle out of it. There's all kinds of other characters that gets introduced. The 5 zombie bosses that you defeat, the reason that you're defeating them all is because obviously they started invading your high school and your town and shit like that. And the reason for this is all because of this emo loser that probably never got a girlfriend before, so now he's just mad, releasing absolute havoc and actual hell on Earth. But eventually you do get to him. I will try not to spoil anything else. But yes, Graphically, this game also looked amazing. Like I said, for a remake without any options like medium settings, low settings, high settings, stuff like that, the fact that it didn't have any graphical options and it still looked so good and performed so well was quite impressive to me. So massive props to them for that. And I mean, yeah, performance was good, optimization, a very well optimized game, something that you don't see a lot nowadays in newer titles. And like I said, combat, great, music, great. The story is, it gets better, I guess. It gets better, the story, and then it gets worse, especially close to the end. I think that the ending was kind of alright, but after the ending, like after the credits, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I think that kind of ruined the ending for me. It kind of feels like a pointless tease. You know, they were just goading us at the end of this game, or at least at the end of the credits. I don't know what they were teasing with that. I don't think. I guess it kind of landed on or ended on a cliffhanger. Not necessarily. I wouldn't really call it a cliffhanger, because when something has a cliffhanger, it usually continues. But I don't think they have any plans for a sequel for this game. They never had any plans for a sequel. So I don't know why they would end it on a cliffhanger like that. Maybe we'll get a sequel in the future. We can only hope. But yeah, I think that it's a really good game. I think that the original is probably much better. I mean, it has the Ash Williams costume. It probably has a lot of other costumes and music and stuff that isn't in the newer game. But I mean, what are you gonna do? Are you really gonna get a PlayStation 3 and then try to find this game somewhere at your local Walmart or some shit? You're not gonna find it. And you know, buying this type of shit on eBay is very expensive, and it's honestly just a massive hassle. So instead of going through the entire process of trying to play the original game, just buy the new one. Just buy the new one. I wouldn't say that it is worth it at full price, though. I think that you can at least cop this game on sale when it's a few bucks off. But aside from that, I think that it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth your hard-earned money if this is your cup of tea. Which I think this is pretty much everybody's cup of tea. This is really a good game, and I think I can recommend it to anybody. There are a few moments in the game that are a bit like, I don't know about that, Chief, but it was rarely, like maybe once or twice. Most of the like perviest scenes in the game are from the sensei that like taught you how to kill zombies and yetis and shit. So yeah, I mean, obviously that is to be expected. It's kind of like Pervy Sage from Naruto, you know, Jiraiya sensei. He kind of reminded me of him. But yeah, not necessarily a con or anything for the game, just something that I wanted to lightly touch upon. But yeah, overall, I am giving this game a total of 8 out of 10. It could have been perhaps a 9, but you know, the port could have been done much better. I think that they could have really reduced a lot of the issues, a lot of the glitches and bugs and stuff. And yeah, aside from that, like if this game was flawless, you know, aside from the bugs and everything, I would have probably given it a 9 out of 10. But yeah, for now, we're going to end it on a 8.5 out of 10. Yeah, I'm feeling that one. 8.5 out of 10. It's a really great game. It's really great, and I definitely suggest checking it out. It's really well optimized, so it'll probably run on lower end systems as well. And like I said, if you can see it on sale, cop it on sale. You won't regret it. And yeah, that's about it. I think that it's a really great game that you should try out. I think that it's very underrated, and I think that IGN is gay. But yeah, have an amazing day. I thank you guys for watching this video. I'm really tired right now. As you can hear, I'm mumbling a lot of these words, so I'm probably gonna head off now. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Have an amazing day, and I will see you again in the next one. Bye bye.